All right. Say hello, Steve.
Hello, how you guys doing?
All right. So we are here live with Mr. Steve Ritchie, straight from the Stern Pinball Factory. And oh yeah, you look really good there, buddy. All right. So we're gonna kick this off here, guys. We're gonna select some questions from your thing, and let's see here. So let's see. You guys, anybody have any questions out there? We have 188 viewers, and we are looking for questions. Let's see here. Well, all right, Steve. Will you ever design a game with an upper left flipper?
Maybe. I want to do one with a middle flipper first, though. One that swings both ways. Isn't that a good idea? Maybe not.
Okay. This is an interesting question here. Steve, thanks for doing this. My question, when does the work of a designer end for a particular project? As an example, were you consulted on the Vault Edition Spider-Man?
Yes. The playfield wasn't changing radically. Certainly LEDs and a lot of other things were, but basically my layout remained the same.
Thank you. Oh, here's a good one. I don't know if this is pinball related, but I like this question. Is it true you once jumped Snake River Canyon on your motorcycle?
Yeah, man, I was able. Able to know able.
All right. Keep those questions coming in, guys. We're looking for your questions. We have 204 viewers. We want to know. We're here live with Steve Ritchie.
Wait, can I show him my broken finger?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I made this myself. Because the thing the doctor gave me is about this big. It's huge, and I can't do anything with it.
Oh, here's a great question. This is a cool pinball question. This is from Dan Thompson. Dan says, when Firepower was being designed, what was the story for the game? Who are the good guys? Who are the enemies? Why are there ships attacking the planet? tell us the tale of
right, so
Firepower.
So he's talking about Firepower 2, right?
I don't know, but he just said Firepower, but let's go with that.
Okay, Firepower is it's basically a space game. There are bad characters that live on that weird planet in the middle. It's from like 1980. Okay, the artwork is not the greatest, but it kind of tells a story of a space battle.
Okay, very cool. So, were you inspired by any pop culture at the time?
Sure, it's Star Wars and Star Trek, a bunch of stuff. I mean, I don't know.
Very cool.
The whole space thing.
Let's see here. Some guy says he loves your Sopranos machine.
It's not my
which
machine.
is not your machine.
That's
so
Lyman's. That's
Franco. That's a George Gomez design.
Yeah, George Gomez and Lyman.
Okay. Oh, here's one. Was Roller Games really going to be Getaway?
No, it was never going to be Getaway. Roller Games was like the darkest I ever felt about a game because we chose this license and it was on the air for about 2 weeks and we didn't even have the game out yet and it was gone. So it was like Roller Games was not something that, I don't hate the game. I mean, the gameplay's fine. We had fun making it. Got to do some voice work. I like that. And, the shots are cool. I was, well, whatever. It's a good game, but the show died. Now it doesn't matter.
Well, speaking of voice work, Nick Lane asks, is your voice in World Cup Soccer 1994?
Who's asking me? What? Say it again.
I'm sorry. Someone has asked, is your voice in the game World Cup Soccer?
I'm not sure. I don't remember. Maybe. It's definitely in Smash TV and High Impact Football, Mortal Kombat, of course, a bunch of others.
All right. Here's a good question. And they mentioned that you talked about the middle flipper that goes both ways. But what's something you'd like to include in a pinball machine, but you've never been able to figure out how to make it work? Is there any cool device that you've ever...
Yeah, every day I think for about a half an hour and pray also to many different gods that I will find a way to make anti-gravity on a pinball machine.
So like balls floating?
Everything floating.
Everything's awesome. I want to play that. All right, so here's a good one. This is a really good question. I think this would be interesting for people to know. What is your favorite game that you did not design?
Wow. Actually, there's a bunch of them. I like Attack from Mars. I love it. I like. Wow, I have favorites from every designer. Like from Dennis Nordman, I like Whitewater. Jim Patla, Matahari. It's kind of a simple playfield, but him and Dave Christensen just made it magic. I like Fireball. Fireball was very innovative. That guy, Ted Sale, I think that was his name. He's like, he was, he did a lot of very innovative things very early. For George, I like George's Lord of the Rings best. For Barry Osler, probably Comet from Greg Kamick, Wizard, good game. From John Trudeau, the one he's working on now, we're not going to talk about it. Okay, from John Borg, quite a few. I like the Kiss playfield a lot. It's good. It's fun. It's got the music going on. I really can't hear music. I mean, I can hear it, but I don't. I lost my sense of pitch because I have a hearing disease called Meniere's. But I love playing that game. It rocks. I like. I can't mention AC/DC because we did it, but So that's about it.
All right, here we go. Let's see who else we got. This is a good question because some designers do and some designers don't. Do you have any pinball machines at your house right now?
Not right now.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like, what is it? Some days I have to play 100 games of pinball. When I get home, my hands are beat up, and that's not how this happened, but it could easily. No, but I want to have one again. I definitely do. At least one.
Good answer there. Okay. Oh, this is an interesting question. It's kind of relevant to what's going on now. What do you attribute? There's been a huge surge in pinball popularity over the past few years. What do you think has been some of the contributing factors to pinball kind of making a little bit of a resurgence?
Some good games. Good games do make a difference, and I think it's. I don't know. It's some innovations. It's a lot of things. We got a great team here. These guys included, Jared and what's your name again? No, Jody. Okay. Anyway, we have a really good team, and some. Have to say it. We have new, innovative leadership, pretty much, and we kind of expanded things when we got partners. No question.
Great. Okay, here's a question, and this is a two-part question. So I saw someone ask this before. What was the best game what was your favorite game you did voiceover work for, and could you do some of that voiceover work for us now?
Sure. I'm gonna need a Red Bull though.
Before
or
after?
I don't need a Red Bull. I
Okay.
don't need one. Okay. The first part of the question was what games did I do voices for?
Yeah. What were your favorite voiceovers?
Okay.
to
There's like, I don't know. I guess the first thing I did was Firepower, and we had this really small piece of memory, so I had to say everything like fire, power, you are destroyed. I had to speak in a monotone so you could assemble the words any way you wanted. We only had about 12 or 15 words, and so that was the first one. After that, I think I did some stuff in Comet for Barry, like I think it was, "Come on, Turkey, hit me," something like that. No, this is it. "Hey, Turkey, come on and hit me." I don't know. After that, the voice of Black Knight, and I was Colonel Yagoff. You're supposed to have a J, but and in F-14 Tomcat. I was the bad Russian pilot. My brother was Hitman, by the way, Mark Ritchie, and that was fun. A lot of stuff in Mortal Kombat. It's very hard for me to remember all this stuff, but I'll try a few. It's Fatality. God, I'm trying to think of more of them. Come on, what else does Shao Kahn say?
Finish him.
Finish.
Oh, yeah. Finish him. It's weird. I can still recall it kind of, but since I haven't heard it in a long time, I can't really tell if I'm doing it correctly.
I think it sounds good.
I am the Black Knight. No way. Yeah. It's a bunch of stuff. One of my favorites, Crash and Burn. That's from No Fear. Second place is the first loser. Let's see now. It's High Impact Football. That was insane.
What was that from? Is it a video game?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same voice, you know. It's the T-Birds. The Violators. I mean, you have to sound like you're going to violate somebody to get that right.
Okay, we'll move to the next question.
All right, you're wearing my voice out. I got to say it for the next game.
No more pretending to be Shao Kahn. All right, this is a great question, and this is very relevant too. And we're about to release our own pinball arcade app. How do you feel about virtual pinball and arcade apps? And
that's Aaron Hightower, isn't it?
No, different guy. Well, we know. Yeah, we know Aaron.
Virtual pinball it's fun. It's just what is it? If you design pinball machines and in reality, what is it? You have certain expectations, and I have played some good playing games that are fun, and I really like the spectacular fantasy stuff. Balls on fire and parts changing and appearing and disappearing, and different paths that make themselves known, and I don't know, all that's kind of fun. But as far as getting the tactile feedback, I don't get that, and I mean, I know I could with a pin MAME and a cabinet, but I have played some good ones. I don't hate them.
Good. When you want to design a new game, right? And we come to you and we say, Steve, it's time for you to design a new game. What is the selection process for you in deciding? How do you make a decision? So I want to design this game, this title, this license, or whatever.
Okay.
It might be.
Well, the title is, some titles are just ideal for pinball machines. I think AC/DC is. Pinball's a rocking game, and AC/DC just rocks, and it's really fun to play pinball and interact with all that. So that's maybe the best license possible. That's what I'm thinking. They have such a huge demographic from really young kids to people 75 and 80. I mean, it's just like a huge demographic. So the first thing I would do is pick a great title, one that I think I can build a great game around, involve toys that have to do with the subject matter, the right music, the right kind of shots. Even shots are affected. You're playing a space game like Star Trek, the warp ramp. I love that. It just it's everything maximized. I like to think about what we can do with software, what we can do with sound effects, and all the different facets of designing a pinball machine, and try to weave that into a title. And some are naturals for me, and some are not. I try to stay away from the ones that are not. Also, some titles are just bad. I'd like to. Sometimes people say, well, why don't we do this? And I'll say, okay, how about if we make a Bank of America pinball machine? You can invest in the bank, you bank balls, you store them in there, you could have you could earn interest. It's like there's nothing more boring. So
Bank of America's big, but not big enough for pinball.
Right.
Exactly.
It just wouldn't work. It's not fun.
Work. Okay, here's a great question from Ron. Do you remain involved with the coding of a game after it's already in production? For example, are you currently working with Dwight on code updates for Game of Thrones, or does he work more on his own?
Dwight did a lot of that. I can't belittle Dwight's creativity on this game. He was great, but of course I have input. Of course we discover things along the way. Could you do this? Could you do that? The strategies are his, and I like them very much. But whenever you're working with a team of programmers and people, you have to talk a lot, a ton of communicating every day, and that's what we do. I think I'm not a programmer and I'm never going to be one, but I definitely have inputs. I mean, sometimes I'll bring up Lyman. Lyman is a tremendous pinball player. And so, I'd like to be the guy I'm the average guy. So when I look at a game and play it, I mean, I've had to say to people before, can I please win an extra ball in my own game? What do you think? And it's like, which means that the front end of the game, meaning the first part that you see, the beginning rules, should be, friendly and kind of teach you as you go along. A lot of you guys, probably everybody that I'm talking to here, are much better pinball players than me. You're deep into the rules probably, and that's fine. I do like that part too, especially when it's elegant and clever. And I don't know what else to say about it. It's a team, but guys like Lyman and Dwight, they if they've got a good idea, I'm listening. And if they come up with a lot of them, and some stuff I just don't get involved in because it's too high end. I will never see that part of a game, but they will. They'll see it. They'll play it. They'll experience it. I won't, no matter what I do. And I never could. I know I'm old now, but even when I was young, a lot of, I never had like great scores or have been a great pinball player, but I don't know, I love to watch the ball.
So the greatest pinball designer on the planet is not a great pinball player. Go figure.
I'm not a very good player. That's
all right. So let's take a step back here. And a lot of people have heard this story, but then a lot of people haven't. How did you get involved in the pinball business? Was Atari one of the first places that you worked, and is that how you got involved?
Yeah, it was my first real job. It's like I walked into Atari, and there were all these. Well, first thing, they got stereo blaring all over the factory, including in the you walk in the foyer of the building, and there's so many pretty ladies coming in and out. It was just like amazing, and it was what was it? It was like fascinating, and it's kind of crusty. I don't know. I can't explain it, but I got a job there as an electromechanical technician, and I did that for about a year while watching people make video games, and I guess I was there for a year, and they said, we want to build pinball machines. Would you like to be part of that? And I said, yes, I would. And so I worked in a prototype lab for, I think, 6 months or so. After about 2 months, they had this guy there named Bob Jonasy, who taught me how to assemble a game and put it together, how it goes together, how things fasten to the play field, all that sort of stuff. And he was very good. He was from Chicago. He was from Williams, actually. But he told everybody he was a designer, but he wasn't. He was a mechanical engineer. But it didn't matter. I learned a lot from him. And I thought to myself, hey, I could do this. So I started drawing a game on a piece of plywood and Mylar and got the drafting tools. And at home, I kind of put together a layout. And it was Airborne Avenger. And I brought the drawing in to my boss, and I said, do you think we could make this? And he said, absolutely not. We have design, masters over here, and it's like, that's their job. And the boss was bad. He was very bad in many ways, but that made me angry because I had done this on my own. I really wanted to do it, so I went in to see Nolan Bushnell. And he was a character then, he still is now. And I brought him the drawing and I showed it to him, and he said, so, did you do this during company time? And I said, no, I didn't. I did the whole thing at home. And it took me 6 months. 6 months, something like that, just to make a drawing, because I didn't know what I was doing really, but I knew it was possible for me to do it. I got all the footprints of the components and all that. So, Nolan says, you're a designer, that's it. Going out there, we're going to get you a drafting table and a drafting machine and a cube and all this. And the next day I started drawing on a pinball machine. It was awesome.
What about the guy who told you couldn't do that? What did he say?
The guy that I'm not going to say his name, but he did a very bad thing. When we made Atarians, the first game we made, they sent myself and another guy named Dan, and he was electronics and I was more about mechanical. And Atari had shipped 100 games down to C.A. Robinson in Los Angeles. So they sent us down there to make the games, help them set them up and everything. Well, there was so much wrong, and we started writing down everything that was wrong. I ended up, like, the ball wouldn't kick out from the drain over to the ball shooter groove. Okay, that's so huge. So I ended up cutting up 2x4s to make little ramps and make the ball roll, pop up and then roll down into the ball shooter groove. And it's like, it took us 24 hours to get 12 machines working, correctly, for their showroom and a local show at the distributorship. So we wrote down everything, and I brought the list back, and so did Dan, and we showed him our list, and he goes, "You can't tell anyone about this." And that was more than I could take. I just couldn't do it, and so we went to talk to Nolan again, and he goes, "I think he's gone," and he was gone.
Well, so I guess the lesson there is don't let anybody stand in your way of your dreams, right?
One more time.
Don't let anybody stand in the way of your dreams, right?
It was everyone's dream. That's a responsibility of the whole company. If you have something going wrong and you're not taking care of it,
right,
or hiding it, that's terrible for every employee.
Not very good. All right, so let's change the subject here. So Joe has a great question. Pro versus premium LE. Which is designed first? Do you make a Pro and then add features for the LE?
No.
Or do you design a complete machine and then remove items? And does this vary by designer?
Okay. I start with the LE. I start with, everything. And we've got, 3 price points. So I think that's the best way to go. It's like, although in Game of Thrones, we're talking about a huge difference between the Pro and the LE. It's just, it's insane. But there's good differentiation between them. And that's a good thing. If you want to spend the money on an LE or a premium, and you're going to get that maximum play, maximum everything, bling, whatever. And if you want a good fun game, the Pro's there too. And I'm not ashamed of them.
Okay, we're pretty proud of them as well. All right, Jonathan asks, and this is a great question because we know that fixing and servicing games is a very big issue. So when designing a game, how much consideration goes into how serviceable that game will be? And tell us about that.
Not enough, probably. It's like pinball machines are very complex things, and I think people like to see a lot of toys, a lot of things going on a pinball machine. I know I do. But every time you add something, you add a little more liability in terms of mechanical reliability. I would say I try to do it, but I work with other guys, mechanical engineers, and there are times when maybe we just, it comes down to money sometimes, or sometimes it'll come down to time, and you find a way to fasten on, something, and I know that on Game of Thrones, it's, you have to take off a number of things to get to, say, this orbit shot, the left orbit shot. And it's like, it's 20 minutes worth of work that nobody really wants to do.
Talk to us about
I'll be thinking about it more on this game. This game will, the one I'm working on is not, what is it? It's complex, but not so compact. It's kind of spread around the playfield, and that's all I'm going to say.
Is there any concept for a mechanism that you designed for one game, didn't make it into that game for whatever reason, either cost or it didn't work at the time, and then it made it into another game?
Sure, many times.
Can you tell us about some of those?
On Star Trek, this rotating backstop, that's pretty old. I just never got to it. I wanted to try it, and it worked out pretty good. It's not really about kicking the ball out on Star Trek. It's to grab the ball and stop it in the hole. That's why it's there in the first place, and then to pop it up, which is more fun than throwing it back at the flippers. And you get this nice left flipper feed every time. I don't know. See, that's the artist part of me that sometimes interferes with I don't know what other people think. What's a game that that's never been done
or a license that you would really love to do? A game, a license that's never ever been done in pinball that you think would be great, that you've always wanted to do, but just.
There's 20 of them.
Oh wow. Give us a few that you think would be great.
It's just that I'm not going to tell you guys that.
Oh, look at that.
No matter what you say,
Loose
I'm
lips.
not talking about that. But
Loose lips sink the ship, Steve Ritchie.
Right.
That's great. We were testing him just now. That was a test to Steve Ritchie to see if he's the leak, and he is not.
Let others fight their battles.
Yeah.
I'm not in favor of helping
Okay.
the
So
enemy.
this guy talks about what do you think about aftermarket LEDs. So I'm gonna tweak his question a little bit. Like, what do you think of LEDs versus incandescent? You know, we're doing all LED now versus incandescents.
God, I never want to see a bulb again. I just don't. Excuse me. Wait, I need this. It's Coke Zero, folks. My favorite drink. Anyway, LEDs are huge. I mean, this is you can make them as bright or dim as you want to. Out on the line in our little factory arcade, we've got a Spider-Man black and the new Spider-Man right next to it. And it is just, the new one is just so much brighter. It makes it more fun to play. I can't explain it. I do like that game, by the way. It's like, in the beginning, I didn't know if I would, but I finally got to look through the Ultimate Spider-Man, geez, a book. It must be this thick. Of tons of art, and I see where it's going, and the voices and all that. So in the beginning I really didn't care for that, but later, I don't know, it grew on me, and I really like the dots, the speech. I can hear it pretty good, which is good, and it kept the old music and a couple of new tunes, and I really didn't work on it. The only thing I did was the side armor, and you know, a little bit of consulting, but. The new toys are much nicer too.
We're glad you like it. We'll have to send you home with one for Christmas bonus.
Say it again.
We'll have to send you home with one for a Christmas bonus.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I got a question. This Carol asks, what do you do between pins you design? Do you take time between the pins that you design? Are you helping other designers in that period, or do you take a break from doing, or do you just jump right into the next project?
Okay.
What's your mode?
First of all, I never help other designers. In fact, I hinder other designers. It's an important thing to do. I don't want competition. I don't need this. No, I'm just kidding. We help each other now and then. Let's see. When I finish a game, usually by the time I finish a game, I have enough ideas for the next one, or at least a good start. Now, you know, I'd be thinking about, you know, all the elements that would go in a particular title that I would get, you know, in advance of finishing, you know, the game that let's say Game of Thrones. Halfway through Game of Thrones, I started thinking about what this game is going to be.
Are you excited, or how do you feel about our upcoming? We're going to be changing from dot matrix display to
No, I'm totally excited.
LCD technology.
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea. I think it's fine. It'll be a better way to communicate to the player. And most people on Pinside don't care for video modes, but there's going to be more of those too, and they're going to be nicer and more fun.
Do you think it'll be a challenge coming up with content for these displays, more so than we have now? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be more work for artists, definitely. We have quite a few now. There's a lot of work being done. There's no question. It's not like dots in terms of intensity or drawing, or you know, if you want to run video at the same time. Let's say, just footage from Game of Thrones. We could have done that. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it a lot. I think it's going to be very cool, very colorful.
Okay, we're going to do a couple more here because Steve has to get going because he can't be talking all day. He needs to be designing pinball machines, but we'll do a couple more questions here. Let's have some fun questions. Do you wear any other colors besides black? Someone asks.
Yeah, I do have what I call clown shoes because they're black and gray with red shoelaces. And other colors, I don't like other colors. I like the absence of
So
color.
wait, is that the same shirt you wear every day, or is there like a closet full of 50 of those?
I don't know, I have about 15 of these and 15 short sleeves, and I'm all, you know, my wife laughs at me because I unpack shirts when I get them. I go, what do you think? She goes, it's black, it's the same thing. You know, I don't mind.
That's funny.
It started, let me tell you why it started. It started because I was commuting to Stern from California, and I had to do my own laundry. I was here for, you know, sometimes 2 months in a row before I could go home. So you got all black clothes, and I'm talking socks, underwear, the whole shot. Throw it in one washing machine, bing, bang, boom, you're done.
All right, someone wants to know, Jack Danger, our friend Jack asks, are you going to be all healed up by the Texas Pinball Festival?
Wait, can I say
Yeah.
hi?
Yeah, you can say hi.
Hi, Jack. Hi, Jack. That's like one word right there.
Yeah.
How you doing, Jack?
And are you going to be all healed up? Is your finger going to be okay? Are you going to be able to play pinball at the
I
Texas
can play
Pinball?
pinball. I played yesterday. You know, it's not bad. I don't use this finger anyway, but beating it on the cabinet, I have to play more gently because I love to slap save.
Right. And all right, let's go. A couple more things. What's your favorite cocktail?
My favorite cocktail?
Yeah.
I don't really have one. I used to like margaritas, but there's so many calories. It's like, let's see. I don't know. The last one I drank was months ago. Not that I didn't drink, but I like Moscow Mules. They're awesome.
Okay.
It's like,
You're like a hipster.
Say it again.
Hipsters like Moscow Mules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Great.
do. Well, it's, you know, Lyman introduced me to them. So,
Oh, great.
so they're fun.
They are
Most of the
tasty.
time, I just like, you know, a weird thing, you know, like bourbon and 7-Up. Diet 7-Up.
Oh, there you go.
No beer.
Let's see here. No beer for Steve.
Beer's carby.
It's too filling. Steve's watching his weight. Let's see here. Anything else? Is there anything you want to talk about? Game of Thrones? Anything you want to mention?
Yeah. We have a fix coming for the orbit shot. I know people are going to be asking. We're working on it as quickly as we can. And hopefully very soon we'll have something. What else do I want to say? I want to say thank you for being fans. Without you guys, you know, I would not have a job. And it's like, it's very important to me. And I like meeting and talking to pinball people. I just do. And I think pinball people are the best people in the world, actually.